Welcome to the Daily Brigandy. Today's Wednesday, so that means it's card of the week. This card needs no real introduction. The Babe Ruth 1933 Goudey is probably the most popular vintage baseball card there is, right next to the Mantle 52 and the Honus Wagner T206. Now, it's not Babe Ruth's most valuable card, but it's definitely the most popular. So let's talk about the card in particular. This is part of the 1933 Goudey set. There's actually 4 issues of Babe Ruth seen in that set. This is number 53, also known as the yellow Ruth. There's also a red, a green, and then there's a standing pose, a full body portrait of Babe Ruth, and that's the easiest of the 4. Now, all 4 are very rare. They're very tough to come by, especially in a nice grade like this. Now, don't be fooled by the label here. It's graded SGC2, so that's a scale of 1 to 10. So maybe it doesn't sound like a high grade, but this is a perfect example of why you should never buy a card based on the label grade alone, the technical grade, because most 2s you will see out there will look nothing like this. This is a beautiful, gorgeous 2, and I'm going to go into tell you about why. So if you look on the corners are soft, yes, and that of a lower grade, but it's not the corners alone, because those corners, it should just get a higher grade just based on the corners. But if you look here, and I don't even think you'll be able to tell just on this video here, but there's a light wrinkle that goes across his hands there, and then there's another one I'm going to show you on the back, but you can't really see it to the naked eye unless you get really close. So again, a really high grade looking card that does not match the technical grade here. So I'll flip it over here as well. Goudey, of course, it's Big League chewing gum, card number 53. And then this is the little wrinkle here on the top that I was speaking of. So that's the reason for the technical grade. Yes, of course, it should be a 2, but it's a beautiful 2. If it didn't have those 2 wrinkles I was talking about, it would at least be a 3 to 3.5, probably a 4 in my opinion. It's just a gorgeous card. Also important to look for the surface and the coloring on these cards. A lot of times, just over time, they've either faded or maybe they were just printed a little light, but this is a gorgeous deep yellow color with nice red bottom there too. Again, this Babe Ruth card is probably the most iconic Babe Ruth card there is, not necessarily the most valuable, but by far the most collected. And if you're putting together a 1933 set, the 4 Ruth cards are the cornerstone, and this being by far the toughest. So if you have any questions about Goudey cards, Babe Ruth cards in general, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the Daily Brigandy. We'll see you tomorrow.